following training is sponsored by the Niagara Library System. We serve our member libraries in Niagara, Orleans, and Genesee counties. Please visit your local library homepage and use your library card to get access to streaming videos, downloadable music, audiobooks, ebooks, and even more from the comfort of your own home. Thank you. Hello, good to see everybody again. And here we are with Students and Tech Privacy. Now this is part 3 because part 1 turned into part 1 and 2, so let's get started. I found an article here by Carolyn Haskins, and so that's going to be the majority of what I'm talking about today, and I still have some references from Mark Killerber's excellent article, which I talked about in parts 1 and 2. Let's talk about Gaggle and student privacy, or lack thereof, as we go here. For the 1,300 students of the Santa Fe High School in Texas, participating in school life means producing a digital trail. Homework assignments, essays, emails, pictures, creative writing, songs they've written, chats with friends and classmates. All of this is monitored again by this service, Gaggle. It is a surveillance service, and that says it right there. It's not, I would not say it's really security. It's surveillance, and that's different. This is another article as well. Let me interrupt myself right here where I was only going to highlight the important parts and suddenly everything gets highlighted. So let me stick with what I let's try and encapsulate it, okay? A college student whose middle school used Gaggle told BuzzFeed News that the tool taught them that they would always be watched. I feel like now I'm very desensitized to the threat of my information being looked at by people. I've got that in green because I don't know how I feel about that. But using a combination of in-house artificial intelligence and human content moderators, the Gaggle monitors public school stuff for suspicious or harmful content and images. Gaggle also plugs into two of the biggest software suites around, Google's G Suite and Microsoft 365, tracks everything including notifications that may float in from Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram accounts linked to a school email address. Okay, so skipping through here again, Gaggle is subjecting young lives to relentless inspection and charging the schools that use it upwards of $60,000. And it's not at all clear whether Gaggle is as effective in saving lives as it claims, or that its brand of relentless surveillance is without long-term consequences for the students it promises to protect. I'm going to say this. I said it before, I'll say it again. There are no independent studies that verify the efficacy of surveillance tools like Gaggle. Parents and caregivers have always monitored their kids, of course. I'm going to quote a lot here from Sarah Igo. Student surveillance services like Gaggle raise questions about how much monitoring is too much, what rights minors have to control the ways that they are watched by adults, especially adults that are not necessarily family members, not caregivers, not the primary people in the child's life. That's important. They go on to say there's a very consistent, long-standing belief that children have fewer rights to their own communications and to their own inner thoughts and to their own practices, Igo told BuzzFeed News. Now, going away from the article that Carol Haskins wrote here, my notes. Children are children and should be trained, watched, and parented, if I may use that as a verb, okay? They do have fewer rights to their own communications, but we must be careful in monitoring who gets access to those communications. I brought this up in the last videos, but how long does Gaggle keep the 10 billion items of data they have on students just in the US? School officials are alerted to only a tiny fraction of student communications caught up in Gaggle's dragnet. Last school year, Gaggle collected more than 10 billion items nationally, but just 360,000 incidents resulted in notifications to district officials, according to the company. Nationally, 41% of incidents during the 2020-2021 school year related to suicide and self-harm, according to Gaggle, and a quarter centered on violence, and that's from the Kerleber article. Where, again, do these 10 billion items go? When does Gaggle ever finish with them? I mentioned in the last video too, will this whole digital trail in life affect a person's ability to get health insurance, to get life insurance, to get a credit card, to get housing? All of these things are intertwined. and used in ways that we're going to explore in the following series. But big data is everywhere, and we have to be careful as adults, as parents. We have to, like Philip Agra talked about, we have to question all of this stuff, and we have to allow, Philip Agra talked about allowing people from other disciplines to question AI, and he was an incredible figure and still cuts a large swath, even though he wrote in the 1990s, the stuff that he's writing about, or he was writing about, is coming true now. Okay? And of course, here I have the big in green independent research on the efficacy of Gaggle and similar services is all but non-existent, and that is from the Caliber article from the last time. I do have to applaud the students here, because some of them know the Gaggle trigger words, the keywords, and then they use them on purpose, and they use them to then say hi to the IT department because they know someone else is watching them. Give the students credit where credit is due. Now, there's a couple of things in here. Gaggle, citing the sensitivity of its proprietary information, declined to tell BuzzFeed News how these tools, the AI tools, were trained. They refused to answer questions about the original training sets or say whether Gaggle's AI tools learn based on what students do, put into G Suite, whatnot. Proprietary is also a term used by scammers. For example, in the fitness industry, the online fitness industry, especially in dealing with, for example, supplements, fitness supplements, protein supplements, things like that. Various marketers use the term proprietary blend, let me just move this up a little, to mask the fact that they have little to no active or good ingredients in their supplement shakes, pills, or drinks. I have watched many videos by the YouTube channel Shredded Sports Science, and James Linker is the guy who's in front of the camera, does a ton of research and shows all of his research. He goes into the journals and links different things for the efficacy of the different supplements and how they've been tested and the statistics behind it. Very smart. I have his channel is here on the screen, and I will put it in the description as well. Very interesting. To be very clear here, I am not saying that Gaggle is using the term proprietary like these scammers. I'm not saying that at all, to be clear. But I want you, dear listener, to remember to think when reading these articles or even listening to me blather on here. Okay, if I'm wrong, let me know, but it's important to note, okay? So I'm not going to go over all of those trigger words and that, but interestingly, there's also on the list of words that are flagged or questionable, are LGBTQ related words like gay, lesbian, and queer. When asked whether the company provides LGBTQ sensitivity training to their safety representative, Gaggle says that it coaches them in how to separate bias and personal opinion from content moderation decisions. It's unclear if, in addition to any anti-discrimination training, Gaggle educates moderators on the specific challenges of the LGBTQ youth and what they may encounter. And I got to tell you, skipping through here, when they are paying these content monitors or level 1 moderators at like $10 an hour, I don't think they're getting a ton of training. It's, I could be wrong again, but okay. According to Gaggle, the company wiki, student emails are scanned in real time, and those that violate the rules are blocked from their intended recipients. Gaggle did not answer BuzzFeed News' list of specific questions about the training or qualifications required from its contract and staff safety representatives, respectively. It also didn't specify how much content safety representatives are required to review each day and month, because as they have more and more work piled onto them and this huge amount of data, it gets overwhelming, and the moderators themselves, there are videos from Vice News and other things where moderators themselves get very, very burnt out. Gaggle did write on its company wiki in 2017 that content moderators individually reviews over 1 million blocked student communications each month. So there's two different job descriptions. Level 1 safety representatives, those are filled by the contract employees. They're paid about $10 an hour. Okay. These safety representatives do not need experience in counseling or adolescent health or even working with children, teens, or young adults, though familiarity with current slang and social media is encouraged. Gaggle also declined to detail its safety representative hiring process and training program, but job reviews posted to Glassdoor, that's glassdoor.com, suggest that they're not particularly rigorous. So Gaggle also divides rule breaking incidents into 3 tiers. There's violation as the first one. There's questionable content that includes material that's concerning but not an imminent threat. And then a possible student situation, you can see here is the most severe type, and I am not going to read out what those are, but they're there. And this is the end of this part of this video. Sorry for the abrupt stop, but the rest is coming out in the next video. I had the note in earlier. Thanks for your patience. We'll see you next time. Bye.